Kendra is consistent, but Kendra is not who she was in 2013. And I can accept that from her. I have to adjust, but I have to remind myself that I've been buying these thin vanilla Oreo cookies for 3 months every week for her. But this month, she don't want them and don't want them for the rest of the year. She's gonna change.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm so happy you came by. The Queerly Blax Show aims to normalize the everyday existence of Black LGBTQIA+ individuals through an interview-style series with regular folks like you and me. So every week, a new guest shares their story and unique perspective on their existence as an LGBTQIA+ individual. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, download, set your reminders to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley. I'm here with some very special guests today. We got Dee and Kendra in the building. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves to the people.
I'm Kendra.
I'm Dee.
Thank you for having us.
Together you are.
Meet the Reynolds.
There you go.
Meet the Reynolds.
Yeah, meet the Reynolds. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to meet the Reynolds. So let's go ahead and jump into your story together. I usually start with, let's talk about how you got into your sexuality, but we'll touch on that later. How did you meet?
Ooh. You want me to tell it or you want to tell it?
I'm telling it because you don't tell it right.
There it is.
All right.
Okay, so we had mutual friends who were dating, and we were both living you were in South Carolina, I was in North Carolina, mm-hmm. And our friends were dating. So my friend was like, hey, you want to go to Myrtle Beach with me? I'm gonna go hang out with my girlfriend, and she got this friend. And I was like, well, I'm, still, hanging out with my ex, blah, blah, blah. She had a whole girlfriend. But I guess her friend told her about me before I was told about her, and she friended me on Facebook. So
it wasn't that serious of a relationship. So yeah,
it was on the way. It was in transition.
It was transitioning out. Yeah,
right. So we never met, and apparently years passed, and we continue to be Facebook friends.
So this Myrtle Beach trip happened. Or it did not happen?
It never happened.
Oh, okay.
We didn't meet. So we would like each other's posts on Facebook. That's it. Like nothing big.
I stalked her on Facebook for like 2 years.
And I broke up with the guy that I was with. And I guess she could tell.
It changes. She knew the patterns. She was like, she different. She ain't going to I don't see no more restaurant posts. I don't really see like too much going to the beach. Mm-hmm. Nobody's recording her anymore.
Yep.
Okay.
So she slides in my DMs, and we haven't not talked a day since.
Yeah. What you say, Kendra?
That's true. That is very true. I said, I think you're really beautiful. I hope this doesn't make you uncomfortable.
Oh, there it is.
You got to hit it with the compliment first. But she was with a guy. So I said, I hope this doesn't weird you out, because I didn't even really know too much about her dating history other than she had just got out of a relationship with a man. So I said, I hope this doesn't make you, weirded out, but I think you're really beautiful. I've noticed your Facebook posts have kind of changed and gotten a little sad. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. And
true player.
And since then,
smooth.
And since then, what did it used to be called? Because we didn't FaceTime, because FaceTime wasn't a thing yet.
It was
Skype.
We Skyped that first night.
We Skyped that first night. I had to make sure she wasn't catfishing me and everything. So yeah.
So when you DM'd her, she gave you a vibe. She gave you the vibe. She was like, "Oh no, that's good. What's up?"
Yeah, she was like, "Oh no, thank you," with the little blushing emoji.
So how did you, since she was with a guy, were you bisexual, Dee? Or how did you pick up, what you pick up on, Kendra?
So I'm bisexual.
Okay.
The ex that I was dealing with when we were supposed to meet was a girl.
Oh. The plot thickens.
Yes.
Got it.
So,
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm fluid. I love who loves me right.
There
And
you go.
apparently,
I love it right. Yeah.
Nice. So how long did y'all talk online before y'all actually met? Are you from the same place?
No, I'm actually from Indiana, from South Bend, Indiana, a small place. If you know where Notre Dame is, that's where I'm from. And Dee is from Asheville, North Carolina.
I know South Bend from Skylar Diggins.
Yes.
South Bend. She rap hard.
Oh yeah, that's the hometown hero right there.
Yeah, for sure. That's dope. So y'all dated a couple years?
We talked on Skype for about a couple of months?
like 2 or 3 months.
Like 2 or 3 months before she even came to like actually meet me in person. We had only had interaction on Facebook via our friends and Skype. So 3 months, and then she finally came and saw me in Myrtle Beach.
Don't you do it.
What we doing, Kendra?
I ain't gonna embarrass you. I ain't gonna do it.
Okay. So where do you live now?
I still gotta live with her. So yes.
That's right. I don't want listen. Podcast is for love only. No arguments after this podcast.
No.
So where do you live now?
We are in Georgia. So we are in Marietta, right outside of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
We've literally moved how many states together? 3?
I've moved 3, you moved 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's be technical. Yes. So
I left North Carolina.
Yeah, she left North Carolina and moved in with me in Myrtle Beach. And then my job, so I'm an HR manager.
Okay.
My job relocated us from South Carolina to Florida. So we lived in Florida for about 4 or 5 years. And then
I got a job.
Dee got a job at Grady,
hospital
at a burn unit to move us here.
Yep. Nice. How you like Georgia?
Love it.
Love it.
That's what I hear. It's a good place.
Like Black Hollywood here.
Yeah. There's only a few places I would live as a Black gay woman. There's not too many places I would live. I would live in Georgia, Atlanta area, New York. I'm from Jersey originally. Jersey. Maybe some parts of Houston, Texas, but it would have to be like a big kind of metro situation, you know how y'all know how it is out there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when you're dating, y'all like this is it. Talk me through kind of the journey of like getting engaged, getting married, just like the whirlwind of the relationship.
You can tell this story.
Okay. So let me see. She refused to move in with me without a ring.
I'm a lady.
Mad at her. If you like it, put a ring on it.
Move in. So I was like, oh, okay. I know who I'm dealing with. All right. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and put the smooth on her real quick. I took her to Hawaii. We had been together for about a year. About a year and a half. I took her to Hawaii. Everybody was telling her that I was gonna propose for this trip. Everybody was telling her. Nobody knew, except for me and my best friend, that I was actually going to propose to her. Didn't tell anybody but my best friend. So took her to Hawaii. First night that we got there on the balcony, she turns around. I'm on my knee with my ring. And
like, remember you had said what you had said? Remember? Oh, okay.
Do I remember what I said? It was very casual. It wasn't, I didn't have a big speech planned out.
No, I said, because
I jumped on you before you could
say because Dee said I ain't moving in.
Like,
Yeah, Dee said I ain't moving in till you propose. You said, okay, say less.
Say less, right.
You got it.
Ring real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. So how was that? How was that for you, Dee?
So she played me. She completely played me. I had no idea. Even nobody takes you to Hawaii unless they're gonna propose. Nobody takes you to Hawaii. I said, she likes me and I like her back. We haven't really met each other's family. We hadn't done the whole big, this is who I'm with. This is my person. And she said that. I'm not gonna propose. I ain't even met your mama yet. Blah, 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 blah. And then what she do? Granted,
she had to throw you off. She had to throw you off her scent.
Granted, Kendra has been the most consistent person in my life. And that includes parents, family members, and consistency is something that I've always craved. So how consistent she has always been, she's always been the same as she was when we were dating. And that meant something to me. And that's how I kind of knew she was my person.
Yeah, that's fire. Consistency is key. So nice it is nice to hear, right? Yeah. That's beautiful. So it was a retroactive meeting of the parents.
Oh, she had met mine.
Okay.
You had met my people.
I hadn't met your mom.
You had met my mom, but you had met.
I've only met your mom on Facebook, on FaceTime.
FaceTime. So you at least talked to her. Yeah.
I met
all of my family still lives in Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah. I met her mother and her grandfather and her sister at her sister's wedding in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
She met my father at his 50th birthday party. Mm-hmm. And she met my mother at my brother's graduation almost a year after we were married.
That's a whole
dynamic. No, listen, he ain't got to tell me. He ain't got to tell me. Okay, I understand.
Well, and what you met Nana 2 or 3 months after the wedding. She came and stayed with us because she was going to a Tai Chi conference.
There you go. Yeah, no, the family dynamics are crazy. My family's pretty cool. They like, whatever. It was just like, oh, so this your girlfriend? This is who you with? Yeah. It's no, like for me, it was easy, but my wife's family's a little different. They, Pentecostal Christian family. That's a whole nother like situation. Like that's just, I know how that can be.
I can relate to yours. Yeah.
Yeah, but the funniest, it just, we're getting there. We're on our way. The funniest story of like a family meeting is like my grandmother, she passed away last year, but she was nice. She's in her 90s. And so she had known who Rochelle was for years. She would come home with me, like, no big deal. And we're sitting at my grandma's house and she's sitting there watching TV, like, she got like a little recliner chair, like facing the TV. The couch is kind of behind her chair. And she turns around. Me and Rochelle sitting on the couch. And she's like, "Are y'all married yet?" Lord, I was like, because I've never even talked to her about it, my sexuality, my relationship, anything. And she's just like, "Y'all married yet?" I was like, "What?" And Rochelle's cracking up. She thinks this is hilarious. I'm like, yo, I was mortified. And I said no. And then she just turned back around. She's like, "All right." That's the only conversation I ever had with my grandma about my relationship.
You know what though? That's
crazy.
Awesome.
Awesome. It was wild.
A preview. That was a preview.
Yeah. So then, of course, the next thing I do is I call my mom. I'm like, "Mom, what did you tell grandma about my?" She was like, "I didn't tell her nothing." But my grandma used to send me, she would send every one of her grandkids, she would send us a check in the mail when we were in college, $25. But this is like the most meaningful $25 that I ever got in my life, right?
Absolutely.
But she would send little notes with it. Like she would send a note. And one time she sent the article of like Ellen with the note because she watched daytime TV. Crazy. Family is amazing. But yeah, so going back to the relationship. Okay, so you guys meet family kind of sporadically, obviously some challenging dynamics. Have you had any conversations about how has there been any one meeting that's been more challenging than the other? And then like what were some of the things that you had to do to kind of work through those things? And this is more for people who one thing that we see a lot, are starting to see a lot more of, is long-term relationships, but there are people who kind of have those roadblocks, this being one of them, because my wife and I the same. We've had a lot of conversations about family and how it's separate from our relationship, but it affects you, right? So it's like, how do you not take it personal, and feel protected, and like all of the nuances that go into like what family is to each of you?
You want to talk about the first meeting with your mom and your dad, your stepdad?
So I'm very private with my mother because I love her very much, but she doesn't see the sunshine and things that I do. So when I went to Hawaii, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Hawaii, da 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 da," and she was like, "You going with a guy or a girl?" And I said, "I'm going with a girl." And she was like, "That's why I never gonna have no grandchildren." I said,
"Yep, heard that one before."
I said, you don't like other people's children, you'll be fine. But I came back engaged. She was just like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Literally.
Didn't come to the wedding. My stepfather didn't come. And then she kind of had to suck it up because Kendra wasn't going anywhere. And I'm the oldest for both my parents, and I'm the only girl for both of my parents. And for a long time, she wouldn't really take us seriously. You thought you loved a girl before and blah, 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 blah. So she really thought it was a phase because I did, also date men. But we got to a point where my little brother was graduating because we're 13 years apart. So my baby was graduating. So I had to be there, and Kendra came. There was no way I was leaving her at home. And we were both so nervous. My mom says what's on her mind as soon as it comes to her mind. Yeah. And we got
a few of them right now, man.
Yeah. We got into the hall to, help decorate. And Kendra got out of the car. And if you don't know, I'm 5 foot. My mother is 2 inches shorter than me. And Kendra's 6 foot. So Kendra gets out the car, and my mom is not a hugger. She's not real touchy-feely. But she hugs Kendra, and Kendra says, nice to meet you. And she said, it's been a long time coming. And I almost hit the floor because I was shocked. But through the graduation, she wouldn't really take pictures with Kendra or nothing like that. And after the graduation, my parents sat us down to have a conversation. My mom and my stepfather, that, it's not that they didn't love me or, that they disliked Kendra, but they were afraid for us. It's also hard. It's hard to be a Black woman, and then you add to be gay on top of it. People are crazy and they'll just do things to you. But also my fault because I did not bring her around. I didn't bring her home. I didn't give them the opportunity to meet her and to get used to her before I decided to marry her. And obviously I apologize to her and to them for that, but that was my own, fear because I wanted to protect her.
Yeah, I was protecting her.
I don't want to try to talk trash to her, and I have to be like, who are you talking to? Like, you want to protect the relationship with your parents, but you also want to protect your person. So it was a little difficult, but after that, everything's been like smooth sailing. Like, my parents have came and stayed at our house for a weekend, sat on the couch, and my mom sends Kendra dog and cat videos, memes and stuff all over Instagram. So it's different. And anytime that my Nana comes in town, Kendra gets a pound cake.
That's a good perk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If Kendra looks at my Nana, she has sent a pound cake through the mail with dry ice for her.
There you go. That's not a bad perk.
My family definitely came around, but that was a really hard meeting for us. Just the anxiety of what's going to happen.
Yep, because you just
don't know. How are you
going
to act? What are you going to say? And we have had some meetings where my mom will still say out of the way things like bringing up old relationships, guys and stuff. And I mean like high school relationships.
Yep.
But
you're here now.
We had the conversations and we put a stop to all things disrespectful.
Yeah, no, it's tough because you feel like, we talk a lot about just like when you're kind of the minority in the situation, like you feel like you have to carry the burden of like the progress of things. And it is tough. My wife is the same with me in terms of her family. Like, she's like, if anybody say anything to you, I'm going ham. Like, that's just her personality because she just knows me and she knows her family. So she knows I'll go ham, and she knows that, the protection is of everyone. Right. But, you do have to have those hard conversations. Like, okay, this is an inevitable part of our journey, right? We just gotta move through this. But it always takes you by storm when they're like accepting, or like when they don't give you like a fuss. You're like, what? Okay,
you've
but
been
where is
preparing
this?
yourself for like
You've
a
been,
fight. And then
yeah, it's wild, but it is definitely it's a journey, but it's a part of it. And so, you know, shout out to y'all for being able to persevere through like those challenging situations. In terms of the communication between you when you are in faced with those situations, how do you provide comfort to each other when you have to encounter that?
I would say we definitely talk it out first.
Yeah.
We had a very long talk and kind of sat with each other, prayed with each other, talked it out to just say, okay, even if it goes bad, we're gonna leave out of here good. We're gonna leave out of here together because I got you no matter what, you got me no matter what. So regardless of how this meeting goes, we're gonna be okay. So it's always kind of keeping us to the forefront of no matter what goes on behind closed doors, no matter what goes on wrong with the family, when we go home, it's me and you.
100%.
Because we are our family. This is our family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
And
love
you can't
that.
make your mom not your mom. You can't, I'm not gonna ever, I'm never gonna not talk to my mom, no matter how much we get into it. I'm never gonna not talk to her. We might, go a couple days, but we're gonna come back to it. But regardless of how that is, when we go home, it's me and her.
Right.
Kendra's motto is anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I mean, you see, I'm 5'10", my stature is definitely like, it's a presence. I'm a gentle giant. I ain't gonna hurt nobody, but like, don't play with me neither.
Exactly.
So I feel you. I'm with it. That's great. So as far as like, long-term relationship, right, together, one thing that you guys are big on is loving each other and equally. So specifically for you, Dee, because if in a traditional sense, if there's a such thing, right, Kendra is, stud and femme, people have these assumptions about what that is, right? People probably would be surprised to know a lot of things. Like I'll throw an example. So like who takes out the trash in your relationship? Who washes the clothes? Who cooks the food?
Yeah, we both could.
Yeah. Right. So like there's like all these things that like who cleans the house, right? Who's more organized, who's more this, who's more that, where
more organized, Lord.
Me too. Me
I
too.
have my own system. She can't say that because she puts anything anywhere in the kitchen, and I have organization top tier in the kitchen
where it sits.
You see it?
I'm neater. I would say I'm neater, more organized. Like I buy into the clear containers and all the stuff, but my wife can put anything anywhere and remember exactly where she put it. In a pile of what looks like an absolute disaster to me, she'll be like, did you see that lip gloss in that pile of 17 other eye makeups that was in the corner? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the one I threw away because it looked like it was old, but
yep. Oh, she does that. I'll be like, where is this thing? And I'll be like, you threw it away, didn't you? She'll be like, why do you always think I throw stuff away? Because you do it.
Because you do. I'm guilty.
I'm like, well, why was it there?
Like, why was it at right? Oh man,
was it there
for days?
But if it's not yours, it's not yours to throw away. But it's not yours to say where it's supposed to go.
It's distracting.
Thank you.
Don't look at it. Close your eyes.
It's distracting.
It's very distracting.
Like we don't share a bathroom, we don't share a closet. And these are like when you're in a long-term relationship, these are things that like when you first start out dating, it's like, no, like I want everything, like merge everything, like whatever. And after like when you reach a certain point, you're like, listen, this is for the both of us. Yes. This is for us. Okay.
Absolutely.
These are two less things we have to argue about. If you have your own space and I have my own space and we share the room, but that's it. Like you do your thing over there. You can close your closet door. It can look however you want it to look. I'll be over here where everything's neat and clean and I know where everything is. Nothing wrong with either one. But these are just things that when you've been together for a long time, you can have these honest conversations about it. So, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So are there other things that y'all have that are different now than when you first got together?
Let's see.
I don't know, because we still, I mean, there was a time when I worked night shift. So bedtimes had to be really, really different. But when I did COVID, when COVID happened and I still worked night shift, she started working from home. And it's so strange to know that you want to be still underneath the same person. I used to sleep on the floor
in my office.
In her office.
Yeah.
During COVID. Dang, she has a video where I fell asleep in the reading chair and she picks me up and takes me to the bedroom. But
I think I saw that. Yeah.
We
that
still
cute.
Go to bed at the same time because I wake up at 4.
4 a.m.?
Yes. I work out before I go to work. At 7. So but
so she telling me at 9:30, you ready to go to bed? And I'm like, I guess, yeah. Like, sure.
And every now and again, like if I have to work the weekend, Friday nights are our nights to catch up on every show that we watch. I'll stay up till 2:00 in the morning and still wake up at 5 to go to work without problem. But
it's admirable.
It's really hard. I mean, we gotta get the money though.
You gotta get the bag.
We try not to go to bed without each other. And every now and again, she's like, I want to get in the bed. I'll be like, but I have to get up in the morning. So you gotta go to bed. And she'll be like, well, I'm not going to sleep. Just go get in the bed. So I'll just sleep on the couch until she's ready to go get in the bed. But before, I used to leave and go get in the bed.
I'll leave and go get in the bed.
I used to leave and go get in the bed. Okay, well.
I will leave and go get in the bed.
But
not that.
But now, I think because I know I spend so much time at work and time is so precious, at least to me, to be around the people that you love, that when I'm at home and I need to rest, I rest better with her next to me.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. But outside of that, I mean, all of the hair products are hers now because I have locks. But when we started dating, I had loose hair. Yeah. So all the hair products were mine. But everything else in the bathroom belongs to me. So
everything.
She gets like this much space and I got this much space.
I got my own bathroom.
See, I probably need my own bathroom.
But
she has her own shoe closet.
I do. I have that too. yeah. The bathroom will be changing soon. We're actually expecting, so I'll be going back in the other bathroom. So this
congratulations.
Over here, thank you. So this space over here will be occupied by a little person. So I gotta vacate like this whole half of the house.
Oh my!
So, build a nursery, all the stuff. So
it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. So I'll be going back into the troubled land of sharing the bathroom with my wife, but I love her, so it's all good. Awesome, man. So when you dating each other now, and it makes a lot of sense to me, the dating thing, but Dee, talk about you feeling like equally that like you want to show Kendra love, and like what that looks like, and when you guys kind of start sharing that responsibility.
So when we first started dating, Kendra made more money than I did, and I was still in school, but I'm a lifer when it comes to school. But a lot of that is I'd rather go to work than go to class, and she saw that. And eventually she made me cut down hours. I went from having 4 jobs when we first started dating to 1 and then working part-time. So I feel like a part of her way of showing me love was investing in me and being able to take care of things. I've never had that kind of support. And now that I have really come into my career, I will buy things and she'll be like, why are there shoes at the door? I don't know. I saw some Jordans. You wanted them? Like Friday, I got her an Apple Watch. She doesn't have one. So I got her an Apple Watch. And today we're going on a date. So I'm treating for us to go on a date. But Kendra is the person who takes care of everybody. And that is a consistent thing, not just in our relationship, but also in her family. She has gotten her mother's car fixed in Indiana, and we are sitting here in Georgia. So that's just what she does. So in order for me to take on some of that from her is to make sure that I care for her in a sense of I take her to dinner. I make sure she has what she needs. I am the one who gives her the vitamins every day.
Yeah, but it's your way of being her. It's being strong for her because she has, because she has to be strong for. She's being strong for her family, which is very interesting and brings me to a question.
Sure.
How does that work, right? Because I know we have a similar situation or had a similar situation where my wife is an only child or functions as an only child. I'll say she has like siblings in her, from her parents, but she grew up as an only child in her house. And so, having like the sibling responsibilities and like my mom was a teen mom and my family is very much not like well off. So people ask for money, people do like all that kind of stuff. And it went on for a while. My wife let it happen and she's like, all right, we're gonna see, let's because she doesn't have that same thing. Like her parents very much are parents. They take care of her. Like if she needs anything, they take care of it. And then we had to have a conversation about that, right? Like, okay, so that you doing that for them is taking away from us. And like just how to essentially put boundaries in place with our family. Has that ever been a thing or a conversation, or how do you balance and kind of limit how far it goes?
It was definitely an issue. When I first started bringing Dee home with me, she would notice I would be running around so much that by the time we got back to our home, I was burnt out.
She got sick.
I would get sick every single time for traveling, running, doing things for my sister, doing things for my mom, my aunts. I would be running around doing everything for my family. And we would get into arguments because she would want to do things when we went to my hometown. But I'm so focused on my family that I'm forgetting that I even brought my wife home with me.
And I'm a tourist.
She's a tourist.
My wife is too, May 5th.
Yeah, she wants to get out and do things. And I'm like, well, wait, I'm here with my family. I'm trying to do things with my family. And I'm forgetting about her. So to that, you said the perfect word, boundaries. I had to go home and literally tell people no, which was a really big issue for me, is to say no to my family because I've always been, that kind of caregiver person when it came to them. So having her help me set boundaries, we would have a conversation before we got on the plane. You're not going to run yourself ragged. You're not going to come back sick this time. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. And I'm like, all right, I hear you. And it would literally take her probably speaking up for me when we're at home with my family. And she would be like, yeah, I'm not going to run my wife ragged. No.
That's right. That's right.
And I would just sit back and be like, yeah.
Get him.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Get him, baby. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here.
Well, my mother-in-law, I love her so much. And I think this is where it started, is she'd be like, okay, Ken, I'm going to have you, we need to get a new cell phone. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I'm going to put this on your list. And I'd be like, the last straw for me was her saying, I'm gonna just add that to your list one day. And I was like, what list?
What is this list you speak of? Because now this is our list. This is our list now, right?
This is vacation. She's coming to love on you.
Right.
You can't be giving her stuff to do.
Oh, and they listen because they don't do it no more. They don't do it no more.
We still do things when we go because that's her mother and it's her family. And there is no way that we will ever not make sure she has what she needs or help her, taking older people to get a new cell phone is rough. So it's better for us to be there than to try and do it on the phone. So we still do those things. But as far as a long laundry list of things for her to do outside of enjoy our nieces and nephews and our family, won't do that no more.
Yeah,
we still tired because our nieces and nephew are a lot.
Yeah,
the kids is a lot.
So I think the biggest key is setting that boundary, setting that
100%.
boundary and sticking to that boundary.
It feels hard, but that's why we have my wife's a tourist too, and she's very much the same. Just like, no, this is what we're not gonna do. Like, not doing this. Get a hotel. Don't stay with anybody. Just like.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. We would always go and stay with my mom.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go home and stay with my mom, and she's like, no. We're getting a room this time.
When you go by yourself, you can stay with your mom.
It's only
when I'm here, we're not doing that.
And the kids can all use the bathroom now, and they stay with us when we stay. So it's really nice to be able to be with them. But sometimes we need, if it's an event, we all can't get ready. together. So let's stay in the room so everybody can be comfortable and get ready.
We'll stay one night with my mom and the rest of the nights in the hotel.
We ain't stay no nights with nobody. We at the hotel, the airport to the hotel.
No. Well, and I mean, I'm much like your wife. I was kind of raised as an only child. I'm 13 years older than my brother, from my mother, but from my father, I'm 24 years older than my brother. I have a 9-year-old brother.
She has the opposite. They're older than her. Like all of them she's the youngest. So all of them are like much older. They have one of her oldest brothers has a kid that's like her age. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, she's the youngest.
I mean, even at one point, that's going to end up being how it is. But yeah, Kendra's the baby and I'm the oldest. So,
that's a whole other thing.
But you know, she's not the typical baby. I mean, she is because she's annoying. I don't have little sisters. I have brothers and I raised one of them. So this thing that she does, I don't understand it.
It's interesting because normally the older one, like Dee, that would be expected from you being the older sibling. Like all the stuff that Kendra's doing for her family is typically stuff that the oldest kid does. So it's interesting. That is very interesting. But you guys balance each other out. So it's awesome that one of you recognizes it, and says, "All right, we gotta pull back a little bit." So that's pretty cool. Awesome.
I have to remind her that visiting family is not a vacation.
It's not. It also shouldn't drain you though, but
like we have to go to the beach by ourselves. Sometimes we can't.
100%. Yeah. Awesome, man. I love it. So for one piece of relationship advice, I got 2 more questions, but specifically relationships, long-term relationships. What's one key piece of advice for being in a long-term relationship?
You want to go first?
You will never be attached to the person that you first met. Kendra is consistent, but Kendra is not who she was in 2013. And I can accept that from her. I have to adjust, but I have to remind myself that I've been buying these thin vanilla Oreo cookies for 3 months every week for her. But this month, she don't want them and don't want them for the rest of the year. She's gonna change. She might like to watch TV on the couch for a little while, but now she don't. It's something she gonna like in the bedroom right now that she ain't gonna like years from now. And I have to accept that. She might not want to be in HR anymore and want to chase her dreams and be spontaneous, and now she wants to be messy. And I'm gonna have to come to grips with that because I love her and that she's who I want to be with. But if I can't accept the changes and the ups and the downs of her, we're not gonna make it.
That's good advice. What you got, Kendra?
I would say communication. You have to remember that, along with kind of piggybacking off of what you said, you're with somebody that's going to change minute by minute, hour by hour, month by month. So remembering to keep the lines of communication open and making sure you tell your partner when you don't feel like yourself. Me and Dee have I still kind of an issue with when she gets mad, she holds it in and she'll let me know 2 months later that she was mad about something. And I'm like, wait, when did I do this? Wait, when did this happen? So now we have it's called truth moment. We'll text each other truth moment if we have something we want to get off our chest and say, right then. And no matter what it is, I would say communication is the biggest thing when you're in a long-term relationship. Because if you don't communicate, you don't figure out those little changes, you don't figure out those little things about your partner and paying attention to the communication. Everybody communicates different. She doesn't communicate the same way she did in 2013 that she does now. So that progress in the communication and making sure you are intentional about sitting down and having conversations, not just on text message, not just, FaceTime, but sitting down and actually looking at each other and having conversations. That's probably the biggest thing I'll tell anybody is the key to a lasting relationship is the communication behind it. You have to communicate your wants, your needs, your dislikes. Because that was the biggest thing with me was I wouldn't tell her anything. I wouldn't tell her anything. She hadn't even probably seen me cry up until maybe
The first time I saw her cry was at our wedding.
yeah, like she hadn't seen me cry, and it was because not that I was afraid to cry. It was more of, nah, she ain't seen that side of me. Like, no, I can't be that vulnerable yet. So in communicating and telling her that literally made me feel free by telling her, so I don't feel comfortable crying around you. I don't feel comfortable with that. And that allowed her to then kind of get off my back a little bit about it, because I told her now. So I would say keep the lines of communication open, and don't be afraid to, tell your partner when you don't like something or when you do like something.
Yeah. Big, major keys. Okay. Last question is, if you had a theme song for your life, what would it be?
You're going first.
I'm going first. Okay. Theme song for my life. I am a huge person when it comes to songs that are meaningful and motivational. So there's a song by Yolanda Adams. It's called I'm Gonna Be Ready. Love that song. There's the chorus says, sight beyond what I see, you know what's best for me. Prepare my heart, prepare my mind for whatever comes. I'm gonna be ready. Dee said it perfectly to me earlier that, faith without work is dead. Mm-hmm. And I know that I always put in the work, so I'm gonna be ready for whatever God sends my way. So that song always speaks to me.
I love that. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Dee, for coming on and sharing your story. I definitely appreciate you. Y'all know what it is. This is another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley. I'll catch y'all on the next one.